from a cybersecurity standpoint, what do insurance companies look for? What do they require? And then that'll lead then into Chris talking about how he makes sure businesses are able to satisfy the requirements.
When we look at what the insurance companies are really looking for when evaluating risk in terms of a cyber insurance policy, there's the basic stuff, and then we get into the more complicated matters, right? Baseline for any size company, whether you're small or large, is there's a few things they always look for, right? It's multi-factor authentication on pretty much any type of critical system, endpoint detection and response, and Chris can tell you more about what that is than I can. Good backup systems and encryption on your devices, right? That's the basic bare necessities for small businesses to get qualified for cyber insurance. But when you get to multi-million-dollar companies that have maybe more data to protect, or maybe have more critical systems that need to be hardened against cyber attacks, right? And your typical example here is a manufacturer, right? Because manufacturers are technology companies today too, right? What they look for is much more involved processes and front-end security, right? Years ago, you could get cyber insurance with a one-page application. Now they're 10, 12 pages long. There's a lot of complicated questions in there that unless you're an IT professional, you don't know how to answer, right?
Once you've identified that and everybody knows what the rules of the road are now, you can now start talking to an IT person like Christo IT, and you can start saying, okay, here's how we need to do things. We may not be all the way there yet, but we've identified this is where we are, and you can start lining up stack, and we call stack around different things. Ryan mentioned EDR, XDR. This is the endpoint detection and response. You have a firewall that protects you from the bad guys out in the world. You have security incident and event management, which is looking at all of the logs and looking for patterns of behavior. There's things that you put in a cybersecurity stack that then go to these risks to better mitigate those risks. So starting off with that risk management, starting off with an insurance carrier that says, because they have the numbers, they haven't solved the problem, but they've shown over time this is how we mitigate these risks. But they're giving you the answers to the test.
If you have a breach and data is compromised, if you lose production time, what could that do to your client base? Okay. If you had a client for a long time, something happens and you're down, or somehow you compromise their data, then that loss of revenue, it's bigger than just qualifying for a lower insurance rate. But just to put this into context.